Our next speaker, Dana Duggins, is Executive Vice President of the Social Security Administration Council of American Federation of Government Employees. She started working at the Social Security Administration at age 20 and has learned firsthand about the importance of Social Security and the importance and the desire of the employees to give as much service as they possibly can, even when the Republican Congress is keeping their resources from them. So, Dana?
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you, Nancy, and Social Security Works, and I know Senator Sanders is not here, but I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about our concerns, and the voice you just heard, we hear every day. We hear people. I can tell stories for the next several hours if I had the opportunity that would bring tears to your eyes. Like most agencies, Social Security is just one of many agencies getting cut. But for the reasons that we've talked about, there's no reason for that. There's absolutely no reason with the trust fund the way it is for this agency to go without the resources it needs to help the public, the beneficiaries, the disabled, and process their workloads timely, quickly, and provide that world-class service that we were once touted as the best agency in federal government just 20 years ago. The lack of staff as a result of sequestration resulted in over 4,000 jobs lost at Social Security, and this is what's headed to where we are now this last 10 years. We now have lost offices, over 100 offices, over 600 contact stations. We have a backlog of over 1.2 million hearing effectuation cases, which is where that 600 number comes from, but truly from beginning to end, it's 3 years on average. 3 years. If you have to wait 3 years, as the gentleman just said, people don't have the resources to live. Paycheck to paycheck is all what we're living on now. To expect them to have no resources for 3 years is just shameful. They lose everything. Most of these families lose each other. Their lives become shattered, and oftentimes many of them die before they ever see a check. The loss of funding has resulted in extremely long wait times on our 800 number, extremely long waits in our field offices. And now, the idea is instead of going to fund properly, throw it into the internet. Don't give face-to-face service. Let's throw them to the internet and do it yourself. And that's literally what we tell people, do it yourself. Even though we know more than 90% of the people who go to the internet to file a claim disadvantage themselves benefits. That's shameful. We, as an organization, have been tracking the numbers on this for over 10 years. But now we have the Senate appropriation cuts of $492 million from current spending levels. Last year's spending level was already a cut, so now you're going to cut $492, but that's only what you see in the bill. What they don't tell you is that over $400 million more will come off the top just for increases, cost of living, in leases, in building costs, in employer contracts, because we have a lot of contractors, and employees' COLAs. So you're looking at almost $1 billion cut in this year's budget. And with $1 billion cut, it's going to do irreparable harm to Social Security. It will cause attrition to go out the door because people are going to say, I can't handle the workload, and we're not going to be able to replace one of those employees. It is going to cause us to lose our overtime, which right now is the only way that we are able to do the high-profile cases. We're going to see furloughs for employees of a minimum of 20 days. And the wait times and the office hours are going to change for the negative. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. This is not fair to Social Security workers, but more so, it's not fair It's a broken promise to the public that we serve that has spent their viable years working and investing in Social Security. Congress created this unnecessarily hardship because the Social Security Administration and the Social Security Act says that they have the authorization to fully fund our programs and the administration of the programs. But there was a glitch in some legislation back in the 90s that has kept it in the appropriation process. And we know that would require a change of legislation. And we believe to fully fund Social Security, a legislative change is needed. And we believe the time is now to take the politics out of Social Security.